So this is another track under my pseudonym of the Universal Life Orchestra. It's a track called It's a Beautiful Day. We had an amazing day in London, so it's a good time to do a deconstruction of this. Clearly, as you can see, it's in Logic Pro X, and I'm going to take you through some of the elements. So let's start from the top. So the beats, you can see these have been expanded out on the mixer, and these are coming from the Drum Machine Designer. Let me just open up the MIDI programming so you can see this. And you'll notice that there's a bassy element that's coming out there. And the track doesn't have a bass line, so that's really filling that role. It's just a little subby wobble kind of texture. Let me solo that for you. It's got a little bit of a pitch bend on there. So that works really nicely. The kit itself is the After Party kit, but I changed the kick drum to a different one, so very slight amount of customization. And you can hear there that the vocals coming in. This is an Apple loop. It's part of the library that comes with Logic, and it's just been set up to loop for a short period here. The other thing that's happening with the vocal is that it's using the auto filter. And the auto filter is being used to change the frequency content of the sound over time, because otherwise it could have got a bit boring with it just repeating. But I wanted a kind of hypnotic, repetitive vocal in there. So look, let's have a listen. Notice that the LFO is set to 16 bars. So the filter modulation is at 100% for the LFO to the filter cutoff. So we've lost the brightness and the mids, and gradually over time it's going to open up again. So over a 16 bar duration, it goes for the complete cycle. You can see there's an electric piano here. I'm just going to push A. You can see the automation bringing the levels up. The drum programming gets a little bit more complex. And this piano is what I would class as the hook of the track. It's a very relaxed electric piano riff. So let's take a look at this. This is being powered by something very specific. So you can hear some chords there, but if I focus on this, you can see just single notes that have been played. Now, what's happening is that this is the EXS24. It's the suitcase electric piano. Under normal circumstances, that would sound like this. And that's it. The reason why it's sounding as it does is because I've got an instance of the scriptor loaded, and inside this, I've got Chordio LPX. So this is a script that is basically creating a very musical chord. And when I say musical, it's obviously got the correct notes for that chord. But what it's also doing is it's flamming the notes. So it creates this almost arpeggio-like run of notes. So have a listen. So that's occurring at 148 milliseconds in terms of the spacing between the notes. I'm just going to show you here, we could change that. So it could be an instant chord. I could even drag it slower. And that's lovely. Remember, you could automate this stuff to get a kind of a vibe. All right, so look. That's how I had it. A couple of other things going on here. The human flam, which is just adding a little bit of humanization. So the timing, the 148 milliseconds is varying according to a little bit of randomization. So it makes it sound more human. The other thing is velocity is being adapted. So this is adding a slight amount of randomization into the velocity. So this creates that human sounding playing. It does sound very organic, very realistic. And that's the real strength of Chordio. It does exist also now in Ableton, and I've got some videos about that are separate as well. But we're looking at the Logic Pro X version, so this exists within Scriptor. So that sounds lovely. Sounds really, really nice. The only kind of transitional effects that we've got going on are this reverse crash that comes up here, and that's coming to signify a musical change. So we've got piano this time, running through the same script. I copied it down, created a duplicate track, and just switched the preset on the EXS24. So this is the classical piano on the EXS24. It's a lovely piano instrument that you can play. Once again, let me just show you here. Let's come back. Let's take Chordio off. There we go. Another instrument that's using the same script, but this time with no flam, is this one over here. And this is another EXS24 instance. And there's something really beautiful about those strings. It reminds me of Pepe Braddock, Deep Burnt. And so have a listen to those in isolation. And just once again, as a little reminder here, let me take Chordio off. That just sounds so rubbish, doesn't it? So with the chord again. Amazing. So you can see here that actually with very minimal musical information, we've got a piece of music. It does sound musical, and that's because of the Chordio script. Another instance. So because we've heard all the other musical elements already, I wanted to introduce a new layer. So this is just a little pad sound, same chords. The M1 is being used here, it's the wine pad. And then also we've got a tambourine here, which is another Apple loop, all right? So this one was put together very quickly. And also, you know, if we're talking about structure, I've added the new pad in here to create some variation, but equally you can see also I shut down the vocal. So we've got something that feels different, all right? But we're kind of recycling existing elements. So coming up to some more piano, I want to show you, I'm going to drop down onto here because I did something a little bit different. So this is a breakdown section. This is a piano, same chords but an octave higher, and notice the timing difference. So I put a gap in between so we get a sense of almost like a piano arpeggio occurring. I'll solo this one, the high one. The original one. And then both together. And we've got an outro now, designed for DJs. The strings are in there. They keep going for a little while, and then elements just start disappearing gradually. Very simple track. I've got to say, potentially it's one of the most simple tunes that I've ever made. But it sounds more complicated because of that chordio, okay? So that's it. You know, if you, once again, if you have any comments, give me a shout. I really seriously recommend, if you're in Logic, if you want to sound a little bit more musical, get a hold of that Chordio script. And also, you know, the Ableton version is available. It's a Max for Live device. And, you know, I do believe there's an update to Chordio LPX coming soon too as well. Okay, so watch out for that. But yeah, that's it for the moment. And the track is available on Bandcamp. I'll put a link down below. So if you like it, please go and buy it.